Hey there. So here we are in week 11. So I almost said I'm not great at math, but I'm not terrible at math. And so I did a little math. We're in week 11. We have a 16-week semester. That means we only have 5 weeks left. And so don't despair. Like I know some people are behind, and the way the class is structured is that there's a lot of points still to be earned. All right. So these last 5 weeks, we dive into some interesting projects. We're going to talk about things like virtual reality, computer careers, algorithmic art. There's lots of fun stuff coming up. Practical things like we're going to look at spreadsheets. And so on the checklist for this week, down at the bottom, there's just a quick summary. Like you can always go to the class schedule to get details, but on the checklist, there's a quick summary down at the bottom that kind of says week by week, here's the big ideas that we're going to do. So take advantage of that and jump in. And if you feel stuck, don't forget there's this book a meeting link that you can use at any single time you want. When you click that link, it opens up to this page and you get to decide how many minutes you want. Like you let me know. And if it goes over 15, it's not that big of a deal. If it's 36, it's not that big of a deal. But when you click on this and you open up, you're going to see times that are scheduled. And this has been open all semester. So I just put on some most common times on there. If none of those work, you just need to message me on your notes channel and we will set something up. So make sure you take advantage of that if you feel stuck. Don't just disappear. You know, a lot of people do that. Don't just disappear. Reach out for help. Do what you need to do to get the job done. All right. So let me open up our module for this week. And we're going to talk about networks and cybersecurity. And cybersecurity is a really hot topic. Like a lot of people are interested in cybersecurity, but they don't always exactly know what that means. And what does it have to do with networks? They're tied in pretty closely. So we've got a couple of chapters that go along with this week. There's chapter 3 or unit 3 and unit 7. Remember, scan the chapters and then take the quiz if you need to. Don't spend a lot of time reading the chapters. That's kind of the last line of defense. Go through the resources that I'm giving you first. Those are more current. That'll be more helpful. And so if you come down here in the Think section, there's a video about the 5 laws of cybersecurity. What does that even mean? And you should learn how to hack. What does that even mean? Why should he learn how to hack? Aren't hackers bad guys? Not always. Anyhow, I think you'll find those videos pretty interesting. And in Zoom this week, we might touch on a couple of those. Down here in the Learn, I do have this note, Chapter 7, Unit 7 is not available in PDF. Unit 3 is, and I think it's the last one we have assigned that I have a PDF for. Anyhow, at this point, hopefully you have the textbook. If not, the library's got a copy you can check out. Well, actually, I don't think you can check it out, but you can read it in the library. And so we've got a series of crash course videos, and I split them out because the first one is Crash Course Networks, and this actually has 3 videos. All the videos are like 11 or 12 minutes long. That's about an average crash course video. And so you've got one on networks in general. What are they? What does this picture behind me have to do with networks? After you watch that video, that might make a little more sense about how things are connected. And then there's a video on the internet. Okay. And then there's a video on the World Wide Web. Now, a lot of people think those two are the same thing, but they're actually not the same thing. And so those videos will help you kind of suss out what is same and what is different and how they're all connected and how that impacts us. And then the other crash course videos on cybersecurity. And like I said, that's a pretty hot field. A lot of people are wanting to get into cybersecurity these days, and it's a pretty good field to get into. Down here in the project area, we've got a couple of, we have one project in progress from last week. So submit 1 was opened up last week and it's due midweek this week. So you have like a week and a half to do it. I didn't give you 2 weeks because if I do, most people, they wait until the end anyhow. And I need more time to grade this one and because I give you really good feedback on this one to help you with the final part of the project. And keep in mind, like I said last week, if you haven't done the other part, you can still jump in on this one. but you might have some questions. So you might have to backtrack a little bit and ask me some questions, but don't wait till the last minute. Although we're running out of time to wait until the last minute. We're kind of at the last minute almost. Anyhow, so that one's due Wednesday. And then we have this movie review project that I'm going to look at in just a minute. And it actually goes along with our chapter in 2 weeks, but I want you to do this ahead of time so that when we get to the chapter in 2 weeks, you'll have some context for things that you might be interested in looking at. And then there's a week 11 grade check and assignment submission. So this is a quick form. It won't take you very long to fill out. It is due Wednesday because I need time to look at it and work out a plan with you if we need to do that. But it gives you a chance to look at your grade, kind of self-report. Here's what I did. Here's what I've turned in, especially if you turned in anything kind of in the amnesty period last week where you had some time to get it done. Anyhow, so get that done by Wednesday and help me, help you on that. Then we have a Zoom week coming up. So Zoom week 11 Zoom discussion. If you can, sign up for the Friday time. Anyhow, and I'll message people about that directly. But this week we're going to play with turtles and we're going to do algorithmic art. We talked about algorithms last time in Zoom. And this time we're going to do some art with algorithms and turtles. So you'll have to show up and see what that's all about. And then you've got your couple of quizzes. All right. And so let's jump over to the movie review. When you go to that assignment, it's going to have a link to a video. So I'm not going to go into a great amount of detail. I'm just going to point out one thing because the video kind of goes through the whole thing. And the other thing is the slideshow. So I'm going to jump ahead and tell you or show you kind of your choices, what choices you have here. So your job is going to be to pick a movie and watch a movie. How hard can that be, right? Most of these movies are either on Netflix or Amazon Prime or available for free on YouTube. There's a couple of them that you can find on the Internet Archive. And so I've linked to all of that. And you've got these 9 choices. Now, these aren't all the movies that are out there, but the common thread between all of them is they have to do with computer history, technology history, and they have to do with more or less real events. Some of them, like The Imitation Game, is a little dramatized. And so part of what you're going to do is put your critical thinking skills to work when you watch this and do a little investigation, like especially if it's a movie like The Imitation Game or The Social Dilemma. How accurate is it? Like what parts are dramatized and what parts are true? And so you're going to apply some of your evaluation skills to this project as well. Those are useful skills. They come in handy all over the place. So don't just watch something and say, oh my gosh, yes, that's the way it is. Coded bias is one of my favorites on this list. It's really, really interesting. It has to do with facial recognition software and implicit racism, which is a really curious combination. But it talks about that. Revolution OS, super geeky movie, but they actually talk to the actual people that are instrumental in lots of things that you do every single day. And they're quirky and they're kind of weird. But anyhow, it's interesting. So all of these movies are really good. Some of them are documentaries, some of them are movies, some are longer, some are shorter. You get to decide. And for each of these, like let's go to Revolution OS, there'll be 2 slides. One slide gives you a little bit of a background on it, and the other slide will give you a movie trailer. So you get to watch that and decide and pick a movie. But pick a movie early, like pick a movie early this week, watch it, make sure you give yourself enough time to read the assignment and understand the assignment. And then let's jump over to the reflection and assignment form. So that one I said is due Wednesday. This is pretty straightforward. It's to report out kind of what you did over the last 10 weeks, and you just fill it out. And this part is like some people have set up meetings with me on the calendar, and they've set up what we call a planning document. And a planning document goes over like, here's what we're going to do to get all caught up. And here's some success strategies that we can try. So if you've done that with me, put the URL to your document here so that I can pull it up and we can talk about that. And if you haven't, just say no. But if you'd like to, say no, but I'd like to have a planning document. Most people that have one find it to be super, super useful. And then you're just going to go through and fill it out. Oops. Um, it shows you how to find your letter grade in Moodle. There's a video there. You're going to give me an update on your grades. And then every section will have this. So you can jump to the different weeks, like look at the class schedule if you need to, go through Moodle week by week if you need to. If you've got something you need to submit to me, like let me jump to week 4, hit next. Whoops, I got to fill in all this stuff. So I'm not going to do that right now. Anyhow, it'll list what was available to submit. And so if it's there and you submitted it, you just check it off. And then at the very end, like when you're all done, you just go to submit, and that's it. So that's what we have on deck for this week. It's a really interesting, really useful, really helpful week. We're kind of winding into the last third of our class, roughly, last 5 or 6 weeks of our class. And we still have lots to do, but hopefully you'll find it useful and interesting. So have a really good week. Ask lots of questions. Get those things in on Wednesday that are due on Wednesday, and then jump into your movie project. And I think you'll learn a lot this week.